Pedagogy for Positive Learning Environments, Semester 2, 2019. We will be looking at Jane's Vignette by Gaetana Karunakaran, Rajbi Kramdeep Kaur and Zaina Jabir. This is Jane Smith, an Indigenous student in Year 9 who attends Wookbook High School. Jane enjoys drawing and computer studies and dislikes science and failing at maths. We will be discussing several issues Jane is facing this school year. Her recent diagnosis of attention deficit hyperactive disorder, commonly known as ADHD, the fact that she comes from a low socioeconomic status, her relationship difficulties with her peers and parents, and we will discuss a support plan. This is Miss Jones, Jane Smith's teacher. Miss Jones is feeling frustrated and is at her wit's end with Jane. She describes her as inattentive, disengaged, disturbing classmates, and a safety risk to others because she throws objects in the classroom.
Can you please copy that down? Jane, you're late. Can you please get your books and pen out? Bags off the floor to not disturb Sarah. Come on. I don't have my notes. Get a piece of paper. Sarah, do you have an extra piece of paper?
Yeah, just give me a notebook.
Oh, Jane, do not do that, please. Hold on.
Children from low SES or socioeconomic status households and communities tend to develop academic skills slower than children from higher SES groups. For example, low SES in childhood is related to poor cognitive development, language, memory, socio-emotional processing, and consequently poor income and health in adulthood. The school systems in low SES communities are often under-resourced, negatively affecting students' academic progress and outcomes. This resulted in a higher rate of dropouts, prolonging the low SES status of the community. Literacy gaps in children from different socioeconomic backgrounds exist before formal schooling begins. Children's initial reading competency is correlated with the home literacy environment, number of books owned, and parent distress, as shown in research done by Aikens and Barber in 2008. However, poor households have less access to learning materials and experiences, including books, computers, stimulating toys, skilled reading lessons, or tutors to create a positive literacy environment. Prospective college students from low SES backgrounds are less likely to have access to informational resources about college. Children from low SES families enter high school with average literacy skills 5 years behind those of high-income students. Jane has a low attendance record, and this may be linked to her background of being an Aboriginal student. Based on research carried out by Baxter and Mays 2019, Indigenous students produce poorer educational outcomes and continue to produce persistently lower attendance rates than non-Indigenous peers. As a result, the government has introduced a program called Closing the Gap. This program focuses on counting the attendance and focuses on reducing the attendance disparity based on the tenet that the more often students attend school, the more learning opportunities they experience, which in turn increases the potential for improved educational outcomes, as shown by research conducted by Hancock and his colleagues in 2013. However, The government's initiative to improve school attendance and outcomes for Indigenous students through the Closing the Gap strategy has achieved little success because Indigenous students' attendance rate have remained low and stable over the past decade. Based on the statistics shown, the attendance rates for Indigenous students have been stable between 2014 and 2017. However, the target is not on track to be met. Indigenous-specific reasons for non-attendance have been proposed, in which the majority relate to a lack of recognition by schools of Indigenous culture and history, failure to fully engage parents, carers and the community, and not forgetting the ongoing disadvantage in many areas of the daily lives of Indigenous Australians. Research indicates that school conditions contribute more to socioeconomic status differences in learning rates than family characteristics do, as shown by research done by Aikens and Barberin in 2008. Researchers have argued that classroom environment plays an important role in outcomes. Also, a teacher's years of experience and quality of training are correlated with children's academic achievement. Children in low-income schools are less likely to have well-qualified teachers. Schools with students from the highest concentrations of poverty have fewer library resources to draw on. Low SES and exposure to adversity are linked to decreased educational success. Such toxic stress in early childhood leads to lasting impacts on learning, behavior, and health. Children from lower SES households are about twice as likely as those from high SES households to display learning-related behavior problems. Perception of family economic stress and personal financial constraints affected emotional distress and depression in students and their academic outcomes.
Relationship difficulties. Resistance to peer influence seems to grow linearly from age 14 to age 18. This seems to be due to individuation and identity formation. There is little evidence for growth before or after this age period. It appears that girls are more likely to stand up for what they believe, rather than alter their behaviour to conform. Emotional centre shifts from family to friends. Parents do influence peer group interactions, which can influence performance and delinquency. Having a best friend can help with emotional adjustment, but their effectiveness depends on the relationship stability and social competence of the friend. Friends provide important developmental opportunities, such as creating a comfort zone through shared activities, consistency in friends, trust and loyalty. Violations of these, which occur more frequently in adolescence, can be particularly damaging. Friends in adolescence have a greater understanding of preferences, thoughts and feelings. Cognitive changes also enable a greater ability to talk about relationships, affection, loyalty and trust. Adolescents prefer friends who make similar choices. Forming stable relationships with delinquents can increase deviant behaviour. More positive relationships maintain self-worth and social acceptance. Participation helps people feel more confident. Good school climate leads to higher levels of participation, task completion and self-reported engagement. School climate improves motivation and reduces behavioural problems. A good teacher is supportive, involved, applies discipline when necessary, holds high expectations for conduct and performance, and has a spirit of involvement in education. Good teachers tend to have high attendance from students, reduced delinquency, and this appears true regardless of the background. Programs need to adapt to individual needs, need to involve parents. High achievers can influence low achievers, and being around low achievers can improve self-concept. Friends are bigger influences for completing homework and applying themselves than parents.
Moving ahead to ADHD. It is a neurocognitive disorder that continues to affect many individuals throughout their lives. It is most commonly diagnosed mental disorder in children and adolescents in Australia and internationally. Due to ADHD, Jane is hyperactive, disengaged, distracted, inattentive, forgetful, and inhibited. Some of the impacts of ADHD are academic underperformance, which is due to lower engagement rates and inconsistent work productivity, more frustration and failure due to frequent negative feedbacks, less satisfaction with their lives and families, high risk of bullying, as in case of Jean, because other students usually teased her for her out-of-control behavior. All these leads to higher grade retention rates and more dropping outs. Moving ahead. These factors don't only affect individuals but go beyond to school and family. It increases feeling of frustration and ineffectiveness in both teachers and parents due to increased demand in parenting and instructions respectively. It increases level of stress in parents and teachers and also impact parent-child relationship. It impacts the social lives of parents.
Jean is intellectually sound and has demonstrated success in a number of areas such as language, oral evaluations, ICT usage, and logical thinking, reasoning, and creativity. She has also performed better in subjects whose teachers were motivating and caring, and motivation and praise works well with Jane. She also loves autonomy and performing when in teacher-assigned class duties. She also loves enjoys role.
Having difficulties with Jane being in my classroom. She's very rude, disruptive. I understand that it's because of her ADHD, but it's getting out of control. And I've spoken to my other colleagues and they say it's only happening in maths, and she behaves well in her other subjects. So I'm not too sure what to do because it's affecting the way I teach my class, the way I perceive my students. It's affecting a lot of things and how everything works. I feel like it's putting a lot of stress on me.
How long has this been happening for?
Since the beginning of the term, I've had Jane, and it's been going on ever since then.
Well, it seems she's good at English and drawing, so maths maybe isn't her subject, but...
Yeah, and I've tried different approaches, teaching her in different ways, but just doesn't seem to be working.
Okay, well, on the system we can see that she doesn't have an individual learning plan, so we can look at putting one of those in place.
Support plan. We'll be talking about Universal Design for Learning, Smiling Mind, Australian Indigenous Mentoring Experience, AIM, Aboriginal Liaison Officer, and Wallangamuru Follow Your Path.
Speaking academically, one size fits all does not work with students with ADHD. There is need to address the needs of these students individually through more balanced strength-based approach based on nurturing strength and well-being. One such approach is Universal Design for Learning. It has 3 core principles: multiple means of representation, expression, and engagement. It is a whole school approach that addresses student needs at the beginning of the lesson regardless of their disabilities by creating accessible learning environments. Principle 1. Multiple means of representation. It includes using audio-visual representation, physical objects, manipulatives and images, field activities, and hand-on activities. Some of the classroom implications in Jane's case are kinesthetic learning, providing notes beforehand, online learning platform that can increase motivation and exploration of concepts. Teachers should also consider structuring content in smaller chunks and providing demonstration, using scaffolds, and setting clear expectations. All these factors will uplift academic abilities of Jane while reducing inattentiveness, boredom, and disengagement, which further curb behavioral problems. Multiple means of expression. This means allow students to make a choice in demonstrating their learning through various formats like presentations, essays, poetry, and oral. In case of Jane, allowing her to use assistive technologies like spell checker, text-to-speech software, or using computer for exam can eliminate barriers. As Jane loves drawing, allow her to express her thought diagrammatically can help. This will improve on-task behavior in Jane and reduce the behavioral problems. Principle 3. Multiple means of engagement. The focus of this principle is to draw pupils in class activities. This can be done by incorporating
students' interest in classroom activities, collaboration and communication, options to self-access and self-record behaviors. The surge in motivation also may improve behavior by meeting social needs. It also decreases the risk of peer victimization and ensures active participation. There is no cure and quick fix for ADHD, but Climie and Mr. in 2015 recognized some protective factors to reduce the effects of ADHD, which include parental involvement, knowledgeable and supportive school and teachers, along with positive friends.
School connectedness. School's general sense of being supported and accepted by peers and adults in a school, as well as a sense of commitment, engagement, and belonging to the school institution. PESA, the Positive Education Schools Association, would be a good association for the school to join, which would deeply benefit Jane. A positive, supportive environment equals good developmental outcomes, whereas a negative, unsupportive environment equals bad developmental outcomes. Family and school connectedness equals protective forces. The Connect, Succeed, Thrive is part of the wellbeing frame for schools. Wurrunga-Marru, which means follow your path in the local Darug language, is a program that the school could adopt that would help Jane. Wurrunga-Marru is a program run by the Macquarie University in which Indigenous students in the school have the opportunity to join. Jane will learn about culture and be inspired to continue her academic journey through to university with strategic initiatives based around Aspire, Discover and Evolve. Social and emotional learning. Reduced engagement is related to poor academic performance. Smiling Mind is aimed at focusing on the here and now for students rather than thinking about the past or what may happen in the future. Mindfulness is developed for student concentration and attention. A school-wide program would help Jane become self-aware, manage emotions, increase attention and concentration, and develop relationship skills and manage decisions. The Mind Up program has been shown to increase pro-social actions, decrease aggressive behaviours, and improve academic achievement, especially in maths. AIM is the Australian Indigenous Mentoring Experience. It is a program where Indigenous students are matched with a mentor who is usually a university student. The mentor provides support with academics and well-being and goes out to the school frequently. Students attend 3 program days at Western Sydney University yearly. The appointment of an Aboriginal Community Education Officer, an ACO, which would include duties such as contributing to the ILP to improve Jane's social development, helping teaching staff to develop and maintain relationships with Jane's parents and family.